Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reading r/relationships. Our first post. My boyfriend doesn't respect my boundaries and I don't know what to do. I've been with my partner C for 2 years. We live together and overall have a happy, healthy relationship. But he does this one thing I cannot stand. He tickles me constantly. Not a nice tickle, it's hurt and he's bruised my thighs. I've asked him to stop several times and he never does. About 10 minutes ago, I sat on the sofa chilling with the cat and he came over and hovered over me. I hate that. It flares up my anxiety like you wouldn't believe. I asked him what he wanted and he immediately started to poke and tickle my thighs, stomach, and chest. He caught my breast a few times too, which bloody hurt. Anywhere he could reach. When I put my knees up to hide my torso, he slapped my behind in a silly way. It still hurt and I have a red hand mark there. I got really angry and just kicked off. I told him to stop touching me. I don't like it. I said he was hurting me and he said, "Well, you're laughing, so you must like it." Whilst he was still trying to tickle me. I screamed for him to get the fuck off me, and he slapped my bum again. So I threw some stuff that was on the coffee table on the floor and came up to our shared bedroom. I know I'm a knobhead for throwing a patty. While I was walking upstairs, he called me a fucking psycho, a stupid little girl, and a baby. I've spoken to him about it many times. I've told him to stop, and he doesn't unless I kick off. I don't want to keep kicking off because he doesn't listen to me. He says it's not his fault that he forgets. I honestly don't know what to do. I'm literally sat in bed crying like a twat because my own boyfriend doesn't understand boundaries. Oh, and he just texted me, "Stop being a baby. Do you want a tea? Please, any advice, anything at all, because I'm at my wit's end." What would you guys tell OP? Because honestly, I'd say get rid of the boyfriend. I also apologize if the video sounds a little off. I have swollen tonsils right now, but I'm still committed to that YouTube video grind. And time for our next post. My boyfriend of 3 years dropped the ball on my birthday for our second year in a row. For the second year in a row, we've been together for 3 years. My boyfriend dropped the ball on my birthday. He lost his job twice in the past 2 years, once because of COVID. In 2019, I told him not to get me anything and forget about a dinner. I assumed he'd still write me a card or something, but he didn't. My mom was in town that year, so we went out to dinner, and she paid for the entire thing. And as we were leaving, he said he was gonna go meet up with some friends of his at the bar. I was pissed. He couldn't afford to help my mom pay for dinner, but he could go drinking with his friends. Anyway, fast forward to this year. I wanted to visit my siblings in another city for my birthday and told him he was welcome to come. But I didn't want to pressure him if it was a financial strain. He said he'd come, but proceeded to complain how he didn't know how he was going to make rent that month. Because of this, I knew not to expect any kind of gift, but I didn't expect how little he'd do. No card, flowers, Instagram posts. Stupid, but I always made one for him. Nothing. I feel so stupid saying I was upset he didn't get me flowers or post a picture of us, but it really hurt considering I've always made his birthday special. I don't feel like I can say anything though because I know it in his eyes. He sees coming with me as his gift to me, which was nice that he did that. The thing is, he knows all I want was a meaningful card of flowers, which are really inexpensive. After supporting this guy through 2 job losses, I thought he'd put some thought into my birthday. There have been plenty of other issues in our relationship that made me question whether or not we should stay together. But this one hurts so much it feels like the final straw. I know I'm 27 and should grow up by my birthday, but this is the one person in the world who should do something for it. Honestly, making an Instagram post isn't even that much work and it's free. If he can't do that for you, come on, what does he do for you? It's just a simple sign of affection. And I know some people aren't into social media and stuff, but if you know that's something your loved one cares about, does it hurt you to make one post for their birthday? Time for our next post. My sister won't admit to using anything even though I highly suspect it and continue to ask. My sister has been showing really weird concerning behavior. Today we're making a 4-hour car ride. She hit the curb decently hard leaving our neighborhood. We stopped to get Starbucks and she hit the curb again. When we approached the box you order in, she didn't roll her window down after they said, "Hi, how can we help you?" and I had to tell her to. After we leave Starbucks, she hit the curb again before getting on the highway. While on the highway, she was swerving so bad it scared me. Anytime I asked if she was on something, she'd give me a list of excuses. We had to slow down on the highway, and I had to keep yelling at her to stop. She ended up rear-ending the semi-truck in front, but it was more just a tap. I kept reminding her that her car was running out of gas. She kept driving past exits. We eventually barely rolled up to a gas station with 0 miles left. While driving again, she was like, "Where are we going? Like, seriously, where are we going?" So I had to tell her. I know this isn't normal behavior, so I'm not sure what to do. My sister might be using something and won't admit it, and I'm not sure how to approach the situation. If she's not using something, you have to take her to the hospital. This is a serious sign that something's wrong, and even if she is using, still, you need to help get her help. I know it's not your responsibility because they're the one taking the drugs and stuff, but still. I say just try to convince her to go to the hospital for now. Time for our next post. My boyfriend's ex wants him back. I'll try to keep this short as possible, but I'm afraid it's going to be long, but interesting. Last December, I, 42 female, by chance met a guy, 46 male, went out on the town. I wasn't looking for a date, we just met, and in my mind I thought he was in a relationship, so I wasn't flirty or anything, I was just being me. I'm a bit slow at picking things up, like guys being interested, even though I'm attractive, look younger than I am, good physique, fun, caring, and independent. He asked for my phone number, and we continued our way out in pubs and discos. We just really clicked, and I realized later he was in awe about me, and we chatted during the night until the break of dawn. Turns out he was going through the final part of moving out of a long-term relationship with a partner, 50 female, that had been very cold and distant towards him for the past 2 years. He hasn't spoken ill about her, but I could tell he feels rejected for a long time and hurt by that. So much so that he was relieved I called the shots when it came to intimacy. I knew in my heart going out with a guy just ending a long-distance relationship is risky, so I asked him firmly if he would ever contemplate going back to her again. His response was to shake his head profusely, and I really liked him, smart, funny, very good-looking, affectionate, polite, and sensitive. But he doesn't see these qualities and thinks he's nothing compared to me. We decided to meet up secretly so his ex wouldn't find out and make things difficult for him. Also, my ex didn't need to know either because he was going through some emotions when I broke up with them. They also have a young son in his teens that means the world to him. We kept our relationship well hidden for several months because of this factor. I must be honest and say I try to keep my emotions for him at bay, not getting too many hopes up in case I was merely a rebound. He also suffers from depression, feeling small, and being an empty shell with no drive. He has told me all of his inner feelings, being really open, and trusted me with a lot of his deeper thoughts. But he could at times become distant and a bit unresponsive through messages. In the end, after seeing each other for 5 months and him going limp mode, I told him I thought we needed some time apart unless he could tell me where we were at. We met up, he told me he had feelings for me and was honest about having thoughts of insecurity racing through his mind. After that meeting, we got a few things cleared up. Things were just a lot better. I told him I just needed to know we had some sort of direction, but I liked that we went slow and easy about things. Much because of his son and not to cause any strain there. He became more loose and relaxed, and then we started to go out more and be more visible. I was introduced to a few more of his friends, and he met a few of mine. He was also on friendly terms with his ex, and said they spoke like really good friends. Then came mid-March, and Corona happened. We were supposed to meet at his flat, but he asked if it could be my place instead. Turns out the reason for us meeting at my home was because his ex had been coming to his place quite a lot lately, just out of the blue without calling. Her excuse was she needed to get out of the house and went for walks to his place. She also asked if they could just have a bite to eat together. Of course he turned that down, saying he was going out. Immediately in my mind I had this eerie feeling she was opting to get back with him and also being stalky, looking to see if she bumped into me. But I didn't utter a word about that and kept my cool. He had thought about telling her about me, but things were going so great between them, he didn't want to mess things up. We went on with our dating, and we had a great time together. I've never been so in tune with a guy, and we just click. We can talk about everything for hours, laughed a lot, and he's just thriving now and feeling a lot more confident. He also has that look in his eyes that shows he's more affectionate about me and respects who I am. He's always had that look in his eye from the first day and onwards, an amazing eye contact that is hard to describe. By this time, I feel like I can be more into him and let my defenses down. Just chill and go with the flow of my feelings. Then his ex entered the scene in late April. She had taken a walk to his flat, teary-eyed and confessed she wanted a new go at the relationship. He gets mad at her for uttering this after so many months of leaving and breaking the news that he is dating me, but tries to mellow it down a bit since she is in a state. I seriously doubt she wasn't aware of this fact from before, since I've met a few of his friends, and we had a few bathroom artifacts at each other's places standing out in the open. Not big things, just some things that could put 2 and 2 together, but he is naive about these matters. I didn't mention what I thought, and tried to be understanding about what he told me, and thanked him for being open about this revelation. And then things just go nuts fast. She adds him as a friend on Facebook, along with his best friend, who she doesn't interact with much, if at all. She starts posting sentimental old photos of them and their kid on Facebook, and adds relationship status to "It's complicated," as well for everyone to see. Of course this gets rumors going through friends and family, and of course their kid will get a feeling something is going on. She calls him a lot to convince him, crying as well, also when he is at my place at the weekend. He never answers them. In the end, he is just so torn apart, he's getting depressed and worn down by this pressure and being pulled in different directions. By the end of May, he wants us to go slow and not see each other for a bit of time. He comes up with a lot of excuses like work, family, friends, and just coming out of a relationship. All those common things that is to avoid the true subject. I am of course devastated and we both cry a lot. We ended up just laying on the sofa together in tears. He told me I was his best friend and that we would keep contact. There was no bad word, just a very quiet goodbye. I spent the next few days just sitting on the sofa, staring and feeling absolutely lost. But I am pretty good at picking myself up and look at what to do. Keep busy, so to speak. I contacted my BF a week after our talk and told him it was very understandable if he wanted to go back and try again with her, and that I only wished for him to be truly happy. He replied that he wanted to contact me but didn't know if it made matters worse, and that he had spoken up about me to her, and she'd been less pushy. I then felt both relieved but very confused since his ex had posted all kinds of random pics and events that she tags him in. After a month of not seeing him, I by freak chance saw her car in the parking lot near his flat a very early Sunday morning. I then had enough of this waiting around and wrote a long message telling him what I've seen and I understand completely if they were together, unless there was a different explanation. He writes back that he can't remember her car standing there, but he had driven her to town Friday night. He proceeds to tell me that being in a relationship was not on his mind right now, and that his kid is a lot less stressed now that things are calmer. He also states that I'm a joy to be around and my positivity is contagious and I was never second best ever. Part of this, of course, is getting off easy. I think he got really embarrassed and couldn't tell me straight up she'd been staying the night. He actually has a ton of respect for me and he has been through situations where he didn't know how to handle, and he is not very good at handling stressful situations or conflict. His ex tagging him in pictures and events through the whole rest of the summer. That has been mental torture for me since I know this is mostly for my amusement to pull me down and mark our territory. None of his family or major part of his friends know about me, so for other spectators it looks nice and innocent. For me, it was devastating. It made me feel like a ghost, a nobody, someone to be stepped on. I feel that glow and confidence I gave him is a part of what made her want him back, as well as him going from worthless to high value when she found out he was courting me and moving on with his life. I know I have a lot going for me that he found attractive and admires. I secretly hope she doesn't do this just to prove she could steal him back from another woman, but I feel like this is part of her game. I have felt very low and down about this, still trying to cope. Some days are good, some are bad. I try to do meaningful things and stay healthy. To be true, I've never had such a messy situation with so much foul play and intrigues. So that has been my 2020 experience so far. I still want the best for the man I've been seeing, I just fear he's going to be hurt badly by her again. I haven't texted or spoken with him in 4 months, and I just feel like I should lay low and let him have peace to sort out his feelings for her. Has anyone else been going through something remotely like this? How do you cope? What has been the aftermath? It is hard knowing when we had this amazing chemistry. I seldom fall in love, and I've never connected so well with a guy in my entire life. Had we met later on, things could have been different. I'm sorry for what happened, OP, and it sounds like you got played, to be honest. Not that I blame him, but I kinda do a bit. I feel like he is going through it, but he could have been a lot more open with you and transparent, and I think it's about time you move on. On to our next post. My ex, female 23, wants to get back together if she can be with me, 31 male, almost anytime she wants, and I'm not sure if this is a red flag. We were in a relationship for about 11 months until we broke up 4 weeks ago. She suffers from anxiety, depression, and other physical issues that made our relationship one-sided and difficult for me. Over time, we developed a weird dynamic where she started to point out I'm not supportive while I didn't feel acknowledged for the support I was trying to give. After the last incident, we had several that had a usual pattern of me visiting and comforting her while she is sad, apathetic, and in a deprived state. I felt so helpless and overwhelmed that I didn't know what to do anymore and broke up with her. After that, she went to a friend's place in another state to get emotional support. She is staying at his place for over 4 weeks now. They are friends only and nothing more, if this is important. Yesterday, she reached out to me and said she'd be willing to reconsider the relationship if I was able to give her the emotional support she needs. She said that her mental health is in a better but still fragile state and she needs a group of people, consisting of at least one person that can be with her almost any time she wants. If I cannot meet this need, she will move to a different apartment in another city close to where her friend lives in order to have someone she can rely on. She points out that this friend feels comfortable having her around all the time, which I always seemed to feel hesitant when she reached out when she needed support and didn't feel well. It is true that I'm a person who needs time to recharge, especially after I physically supporting her for a day or two when she was devastated or extremely sad. She also shared her thoughts. What seemed to be natural to her might not be natural to me and is not aligned how I feel about her. I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but she makes me feel inadequate in the support I was giving over the course of our relationship by showing me her friend is totally fine with her being there for weeks ongoing. But her request to get back to me under her proposal to see me almost anytime she wants, toxic? Should I step away from that, or is it worth giving it another try? You broke up with her and she called you offering you a proposal and requirements to get back together? For your own mental health, please just move on. Relationships are supposed to be interdependent, not dependent. Also, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button, and if you want, subscribe for more content. Time for our next post. My 25 female girlfriend, 25 female as well, is upset over something she agreed to do. Hello Reddit, here I am posting again for your words of wisdom and advice. I would normally wait to talk to her about it or talk to my therapist about it, but I am quite baffled right now. My girlfriend and I have been dating for a year and a half. We usually communicate well, have the same humor, and enjoy each other's company. She has anxiety and depression, which she is going to therapy for, and is also on medication. I also go to therapy. I still live at home with my parents because I want to save money. I have a very good relationship with my parents. We communicate well, laugh at each other's jokes, and enjoy spending time together. I work 9 to 6 on weekdays and help contribute to the house bills every month as well. My work is close to my parents' house, so I did not really see a point in moving out yet. My parents are overall chill, except for one thing, which I did not really see as an issue until my girlfriend and I kept having arguments about it. My dad is very uncomfortable with having guests in their house. Pre-pandemic, whenever I'd have friends over, my dad would hide in his office room. He acts the same way now whenever my girlfriend comes over too. Even when our relatives came to visit us from another country, he would do the same. However, he is always very friendly whenever he interacts with the guest. This is just to explain his personal comfort level and his boundaries with this house. My dad would grin and bear it whenever I had people over. In his words, he loves me so much. Cute audience, aww. But in turn, out of his consideration for his feelings, I don't invite people to come over often because I don't want him to feel uncomfortable in his own home all the time. I thought this was just something for me to deal with until I moved out. My girlfriend also lives at home with her parents. Her parents don't really care when she has guests over, so I spend more time at her place than she does at mine. My girlfriend would take it personally whenever I wouldn't let her come over to my house, because I felt like she already came over a few times that week and wanted to give my parents privacy. I've explained it to her many times that it's absolutely not personal, it's just my parents' boundaries with the house. We had a massive blow-up argument about this when I was feeling overloaded with work and spending time with her. Then we came to a compromise where she'd get to sleep over at my place once every 2 weeks on weeknights, and I would spend 1 or 2 nights at her place on weekends. Ever since we made the compromise, she would still ask to sleep over at my place once or twice a week, and I would say no, not until next week. I personally feel like there is no point in making this compromise if she's just going to try to get what she wants. Today we had planned for her to come over and spend time with me after I get off work. She again asked if she can sleep over, but she's already slept over on Sunday. And I know if I do let her sleep over, then my parents will feel like I dismissed the compromise I made with them too, and they would get upset. So I said no, but she asked again so she can sleep over if she leaves really early tomorrow morning before my parents wake up, because I'm not telling them she's sleeping over. She agreed to being sneaky, and I asked again a few more times if she was sure, and she said yes. We had a good time last night, getting high, watching TV shows, and eating snacks. Well, this morning we woke up around 5:30 and left the house quietly, my parents none the wiser. She was very quiet and distant in the morning. I could tell something was off. I asked her if everything was okay, and she said yes. But then she started crying in the car. I asked what was wrong, but she said nothing and left. Now she's being cold and sending me short messages all morning, and I can't help but feel like she's upset she had to sneak out of my house, even though she agreed to it. I know this problem sounds childish, and I know I shouldn't have even sneakily let her sleep over without my parents knowing it, but I felt pressured to say yes to my girlfriend's request, or a fight would happen. I've been giving her space for now until she decides she can tell me what's wrong. What are your thoughts on all of this? If you feel like you have to give in to a demand or it's going to cause a fight and like you're anxious about it, then I would say that's kind of a toxic relationship. It sounds like she's overstepping your boundaries and your parents' boundaries with no regard for your guys' feelings. And this is the time for a final sit down and say, hey, this is my opinions on the matter, this is my feelings on the matter. If you cannot accept this, then there's something really wrong with our relationship and how it's going. It's okay if she wants to have a girlfriend she can see more, but it's not okay to force you to be that girlfriend. If you guys don't line up, then you aren't meant to be.